had an intern look at something. We haven't had a chance to really look at what are the unintended consequences, what are the ramifications of implementation, what's really required for it. So I've only had a chance to read through this. I will try to look at it and give specific recommendations on them, but I just suggest that maybe during our February 14th meeting, we can talk a little bit more about, would it be okay if we came out with, as Meg suggested, maybe just 3 recommendations and then points of further study that, we've looked at these things, but we don't necessarily know.
Maybe that's just a change in language,
rather
than recommendation.
Absolutely, but I'm saying, like, if we, depending on what weight we want to give to the term recommendation.
I agree with you, because I agree, and Kurt, the same thing happens on the business side when we get thrown a mandate that we had no idea was going to come, and there's no way to implement it because the finances aren't there, and also the enforcement's not there. So you get selective enforcement, so that the good guys that want to do everything do it, and then you get all these other people that don't do it, and then you put people at competitive disadvantages. So I hear this loud and clear, so I don't want to have a list of all these things and we get nothing done, because at the end of the day, in our small office, if it's not measurable, we're not doing it, because it's a waste of our political capital or our staff capital or whatever it is that we have. So I really appreciate your comments that way. And I know, Meg, you started it. It's about what is it that we're really trying to achieve, and are we going to be able to do it? No, it's just, I think that is critical, and you're right, it is more. This just came to us as well, so we're looking at it at the same time that you are looking at it. And I'd rather be, at the end of this year, yay, we got something done, and now we're on to other things, rather than we got nothing done because it was just too much thrown at us and we couldn't achieve it.
I mean, the other thing is part of this, right, and I don't want to jump on this too much, but these are, an awful lot of the report is actually reports from the committees.
Right.
So I don't know if the committees, if you voted that these are your recommendations, or if these were, things to take a look at, or what that was. I mean, so part of this might kick back to the committees who wrote them. Sure.
They could be used as appendices, though. I mean, appendices, because the report could be that executive summary and the high-level recommendations, and then here's the backup.
We got like 2 minutes left. Senator Miller has his card up. Joan, you have a question or comment, so we'll do these 2 and then we'll wrap up. That's cool.
Okay.
And Kate does too. Sorry.
Kind of a follow-up to what Kurt you said about. I think one of the things that we learned throughout the task force is that there's a lot on the books that if DEM had the appropriate manpower to enforce, we would get way ahead of the game. And probably inappropriate for me to recommend it, but it would be interesting to have a recommendation of increased FTEs to DEM to properly enforce things that could make a difference in this realm, such as commercial recycling.
We write that down. No, I agree.
Give you a heads up, I'm not going to do it. It's probably inappropriate, but it'd be an interesting recommendation.
Let's go Joan, then Kate, and then we'll be done.
I'm just curious, and I hate to put it on Terry or Liz, which time Liz I haven't seen. How many plastic bags do you give out at the beaches every summer? And you're not going to give out bags this summer?
We are not. As of
and
next
then what
year,
are they going to do?
We're working on that. But we will not be giving out plastic bags in the summer.
Really?
Kate?
I'd like to add an edit to the final draft by announcing that last night the town of Barrington passed the state's first polystyrene ban, and that it will include plastic straws because they are not recyclable.
One second,
So you have...
It will go into effect, the retailers to take the products, the foam products, off of shelves will go into effect July 1st. Any organization, the town of Barrington, business that provides food for human consumption will go into effect January 1st, 2020.
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone.
Is that draft available to the public?
No.
No, not yet.
It's draft.
So, next meeting, 14, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, next meeting is 14th, February 14th, Valentine's Day. You can spend it with all of your friends here. 10 o'clock in this room right here. Tony, do you have anything else?
I would just like to be the dissenting voice about that Barrington thing that passed last night, because I would just like to say we're a state organization, and I came in here maybe slightly naive, but I thought this was about collaboration. And if everybody goes back to their own little kingdoms or fiefdoms or businesses and does not want to collaborate as a group, then I don't think we get things accomplished. If we're going to have long-term goals, I don't interpret home rule, I don't interpret Article 13 as cities and towns able to do this kind of stuff. I don't think it helps the state. I don't think that we could spend 15 meetings, reach no consensus, to use Kurt's word, on too many things, and then we start applauding because Barrington goes out on a limb again. It's very frustrating. Very frustrating. And I just think that if we want to behave like government, we can try to define one word here and there and not agree on the report, and everybody just complain that we have a final draft that nobody approves, or we can sit around and get things done. I would like to applaud Tim and Terry for leading our group, because I thought it was very appropriate. I thought it was informative. I learned things. It was collaborative. And we ended our group, which didn't make the draft, talking about how let's ban styrofoam in 2030. Let's treat the environment the way that Detroit treats fuel, the way that emissions tests are done. We want to measure things. Let's have long-term goals, like real long-term goals. We want to ban all bags. Like, let's do it in 10 years. It's just everybody's looking for money, and all we're doing is costing Rhode Islanders more money every time we pass something. So if the price of food goes up in Barrington, I don't know that Barrington will particularly care. And I'm not trying to pick on Barrington, Kate.
No, really?
I'm not, but you brought it up that you guys passed it, and I don't want this to be me against you, because it's not. I'm talking, we're here to represent Rhode Island. And me in particular, I can speak for myself. I'm fine with the report. I'm fine with, I represent hundreds of people in the state, thousands of jobs, thousands of consumers, and I'm trying to be collaborative. And I would appreciate if we meet again and this group continues. If somehow this rant keeps me on this group still, I would like it to be more collaborative with the people in this room. If there's 15 environmentalists and 5 business people, and what are we accomplishing? I hope the governor is happy with what we present. I hope the governor knows in particular that a minority person on this group, for who I am and what I represent, put Rhode Island first and had people's interests here. And I would appreciate it if the lobbyists in this room don't pat me on the back, because this is making me highly uncomfortable with where I stand in this room. I just think that the applause was completely uncalled for and representative of how some people in this room are not happy that where this final report stands. I'm fine with it. I think we got a lot accomplished. I should stop talking.
So I'm just going to say, from the governor's point of view, I know that she's really pleased and thrilled that so many different people were able to sit around a table. We've told her about it. I've told her many times about it. She's going to be here next week. The goal of getting people around a table to talk about an issue that faces all folks in Rhode Island is important, especially in the kind of very poisoned political atmosphere that exists in other places in the United States. So this is great. I'm sure that not everyone's happy on either side. That's okay. That's kind of what happens. And I do think that if we can continue to meet and keep people at the table, then that's really the best outcome for all of us. We'll continue to have hard conversations and talk about things that are tough to talk about. That's good. That's what we're supposed to do.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week.